why has well-being become a focus today? And what do you think we can expect in the future? So Vani, we can start with you since you're probably the closest and worked the most in this field so far.
Thank you, Devangi. So to answer that question, I think I'm going to borrow a couple of words that you used in the introduction. You spoke about boundaries blurring now with the post-pandemic era and the kind of havoc that it created. You also spoke about primary. You used the word primary. Now, coming to that, definitely the boundaries have blurred post-pandemic. Work from home not only became, it was new normal for a very long time. It's going to be a normal going forward. And at the most, we are going to be dabbling with hybrid formats. What the pandemic did was that it highlighted what should have been primary, quoting your word there, has always been treated as secondary and in many cases not even tertiary. And I'm talking about employee well-being and employee wellness. It has definitely become important because as I was sharing with somebody else, that today, if there is one currency that has become the most volatile but continues to remain the most powerful, it has to be wellness. Because this is one currency that can either corrode very quickly, and it can also be built upon, but the will for building it has been lacking so far. Maybe the focus and maybe the approach has been that it is something that can be offered as a supplementary feature by a corporate. That is no longer the case, because at the end of the day, what crumbled the cookie pie for everyone was either their own individual health or the health of their family members. And this being a unit which is interconnected, it may be one person working in a corporate, but this person is also dictated by his personal conditions, is also dictated by his own health or her own health and the health of those people around them. And those who were able to understand this and offer this support system, I think will be able to capitalize on what we call the human capital. It's called the human capital, but it's not being treated like that. And that is where the need and the necessity and the momentum will need to lie going forward post-pandemic. We sitting on the sidelines offering these services, trying to convince corporates that you need to go beyond a knee-jerk reaction. You need to go beyond, just waking up like a CSR initiative or as an HR initiative at the end of the year because you have unmet quotas. Health can never be treated like a quota system. Health can never be an offset or an afterthought of a CSR initiative. It's a necessity. And I don't even need to say this. COVID proved this to one and all. If you're alive, we are sitting and talking here, and we are blessed that, we are healthy. We are all eternally thankful for it. And what is a corporate at the end of the day? It's a sum total of a lot of individuals, isn't it? So it's a one big universe with a lot of small, tiny galaxies in it. Each individual here represents that galaxy. I'm not even going to bore people with it's essential for productivity. It is essential for bottom lines. We've known that. So that is why the conversation today here needs to be a powerful one. And thank you once again for initiating this and bringing this to the forefront.
Thank you. Shri, would you like to add or your views on what you feel? Why is it become a focus today?
Yes, Devangi. I very much agree with Vani, what she has told, right? Employee well-being was always overlooked all these days. And after pandemic, suddenly the conversation around well-being in the workplace is getting louder nowadays, right? Big companies are waking up with the idea that, corporate well-being strategies need to be multi-dimensional approach to support employees, because it's, as you told in introduction as well, it's not like well-being don't cover one aspect, it covers multiple aspects of well-being of employee, being it a financial one or related to career or mental support, right? So, everything. Traditionally, earlier employees were just asked as a well-being is only a physical wellness of the employees, and they just give some medical insurance or some policy, you get enrolled and we are done with the well-being of the employees. But now this pandemic has changed that view, and now people started asking for counseling programs as well. People have opened up asking for certain things which were not even cared earlier in the employee well-being things, right? So obviously the focus for the future, which I feel is we should build a workplace culture where we concentrate on the well-being more, like and obviously building a culture takes time and a lot of effort, and it's not built overnight. So people, I mean, employers and employees both have to concentrate on that.
Absolutely. It needs a mindset change to begin with, is the way I look at it.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. Currently, which is not there, and
Yeah.
people started doing that. But employee well-being should always be a focus on prevention instead of providing benefits for what it's effectively going to be when it is too late, right? So
Absolutely.
employers and employees both are need to be aware of what needs to be done there.
Yeah, brilliant. Nishant, can you shed some light on this as well?
Sure. When I think about well-being and when we practice well-being, one thing is always, uh, I mean, the core of my approach is the culture. Now, whether it is the company or the family or any society at a large, when we think of culture, it includes health, well-being. When we are saying well-being, it's the physical, emotional, and societal. A lot of things come into the picture. So as I will connect, I'll borrow a few ideas which Vani was mentioning. It's like people are together, even at work. So that's the culture. So well-being has to be like a fabric of the culture itself. It cannot be seen as an additional initiative or a function or a program. I mean, it has to exist everywhere. So it's right from the mindset and the expression through behavior that well-being has to always kept in the mind, and it has been overlooked uh, because of so many other reasons which panelists have already discussed. But in future, definitely this is going to be there. This is going to evolve, and not unilaterally. It is going to evolve, I think, by the entire workforce uh, in a much more inclusive manner. That's how it's going to be. Yeah. Thank you.
It's heartening to hear that it's going to become better. Uh, right, to take it to a close for this question, Shweta, would you like to bring it to an end? Shweta, we can't hear you. I think you're talking on mute. That's okay.
Yeah, now am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, I need to like clarify or put my words to the topic culture of employee well-being, which doesn't mean that how fit we are or our employees are. There are many different aspects that we need to address, and we need to address in this holistic well-being strategy within the organization. So as we already discussing about the global pandemic, it's touched every part of our lives, both personally and professionally. Even many people have lost their jobs, and I mean they are still, some of the people are still suffering with the COVID part, right? And in this thing, I just want to say the significance of employee well-being has been greatly understood in the past, right? Wellness is become the need of ours because of the increasing health issues of employee among strict deadlines and unhealthy work environment, right? It is a paramount importance that we forced to a health workplace ecosystem to conduct a productive work environment, right? And enhance employee retention, right? So employee well-being has never been the more of an issue, but like this, a global pandemic has taught us, right? The well-being is really very important for every employee, right? So if the organization focus on employee well-being, it reinforce a healthy lifestyle and can help reducing mental and emotional stress among the employees. And within the culture of employee well-being, we expect more improvement and the job satisfaction among the employees, so that they're willing to go extra miles to achieve the best of their abilities.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that sounds great. I agree that I don't think a culture of well-being is a good to have anymore. I think it's become a must-have in any organization.